1956, a drugstore in Cincinnati, middle of the afternoon. A woman stands at the payphone near the back wall, past the greeting cards and the magazine rack. The pharmacist is counting pills behind the counter. He is not looking at her. She holds a scrap of paper with a phone number written in pencil. No name, no address. Just 7 digits passed to her by a woman at church whose name she will never repeat. She dials. The line rings twice. A woman answers. No greeting. Just one word. When? These are 15 underground networks that women in 1950s America used to end pregnancies when the law gave them no other door. Every one of them operated in plain sight. Most of them vanished the moment they were no longer needed. Number 15. The Lysol douche advertisements. For over 40 years, Lysol disinfectant was marketed directly to American women as a feminine hygiene product. Full-page ads ran in Ladies' Home Journal, McCall's, and Good Housekeeping. The word hygiene was a code word. Everyone understood what it meant. Lane and Fink, the manufacturer, ran more ads for Lysol's feminine use than for household cleaning during the 1940s and 50s. Headlines about marital neglect and intimate confidence. A bottle cost 29 cents. Women diluted it in warm water and used it as a douche. It did not work reliably. In concentrated doses, it caused chemical burns, poisoning, and death. Between 1911 and 1961, nearly 200 acute poisonings were documented from Lysol douching, alongside numerous fatal outcomes. The company never changed the advertisements. The most dangerous medical advice a woman could follow in 1955 was printed in the same magazine she read for pot roast recipes. But Lysol was only the most visible product on the shelf. Behind it, in the back pages of newspapers and the catalogs that arrived in plain brown envelopes, was something older and quieter. Number 14. Patent medicine. Female pills. Since the 19th century, companies had sold pills marketed as menstrual regulators. By the 1950s, the trade had gone mostly underground, but the pills were still available by mail order. Chichester's Diamond brand pills. Humphrey's number 11. Dr. Pierce's favorite prescription. The active ingredients varied. Pennyroyal oil, tansy extract, ergot compounds. A small tin arrived in an unmarked package with no return address. The instruction sheet read, for suppressed or irregular menstruation, $1 to $2.50. Everyone who read those words understood what they actually promised. The pills did not always work. When they did, the relief came quietly and alone. When they did not, a woman was exactly where she started, except now she was frightened and running out of time. The pills came through the mail, but the real information traveled a different route. It passed through a place where women sat still for an hour and talked about everything. Number 13. The Beauty Parlor Whisper Network. Hair salons in the 1950s were informal information exchanges. A woman who needed help often first heard a name while sitting under a dryer hood. The hum of the bonnet dryer drowning out every voice beyond 2 feet. The smell of Tony Perm solution heavy in the air. A woman in the next chair, voice dropped just beneath the motor noise. A name, a street address. She is clean. She is careful. Tell her Doris sent you. A wash and set cost $1.75. The information that came with it was free. A beauty parlor was one of the only public spaces where a woman could sit among other women for an hour without a man in the room. For some women sitting under that dryer hood, it was the only lifeline they had. Someone had to answer the phone when the woman finally called. In many American cities, the first voice she heard belonged to a man behind a pharmacy counter. Number 12. The pharmacist back counter. Independent pharmacists in working-class neighborhoods sometimes quietly sold known compounds over the counter, though doing so risked immediate federal and state criminal prosecution. Ergot preparations, quinine tablets in quantities far beyond what any malaria case required. Slippery elm bark, a pharmacist in a white coat who understood exactly what a woman meant when she said her monthly was late. He reached below the counter. $2, maybe $3. He did not write it down. The small brown paper bag handed across quietly. The walk home carrying something that felt heavier than it weighed. Thousands of pharmacists in towns across America made that same quiet calculation every week. None of them ever spoke of it. Number 11. The coded classified advertisement. Newspapers in major cities ran small classified ads using careful language everyone recognized. The ads sat between listings for used furniture and rooms for rent. Late, worried, confidential. Call Murray Hill 53200. Small type in the back pages of the Chicago Tribune, the New York Daily News, the Los Angeles Times. A dime for the newspaper, a nickel for the payphone. The woman circled the ad with a pencil and tore out the strip of newsprint. She carried it inside her pocketbook for 3 days before she found the nerve to dial. The ad told her almost nothing, but it told her the one thing she needed most. She was not the only one. 5 networks deep, and not a single one had an office, a sign on the door, or a name anyone would say out loud. That was the architecture of this world. Ordinary places, ordinary people, ordinary transactions designed to leave no trace. Number 10. The taxi driver referral chain. In New York, Chicago, and Detroit, taxi drivers served as unofficial referral agents. A woman could step into a cab, describe her problem, and the driver would take her where she needed to go. A yellow cab idling at a corner in Midtown Manhattan. She does not give an address. She says she needs help. The driver glances in the rearview mirror. He has heard this before. $5 for the referral. He drives her to an apartment on the Upper West Side. 3rd floor. She goes up alone. She comes back down 40 minutes later. He drives her home. Not a word on the return trip. He did not know her name. She did not know his. The whole transaction ran on trust. Number 9. The neighborhood midwife. In black communities, immigrant neighborhoods, and rural areas across the South and Midwest, midwives who had delivered babies for decades also quietly helped women who could not carry a pregnancy. A back room in a shotgun house, clean towels boiled on the stove, herbal preparations passed down through generations. Blue cohosh root, pennyroyal tea brewed strong, cotton root bark steeped overnight. The cost was whatever you could manage. $2, a dressed chicken, a promise to help with the laundry next week. In some counties, she was the only person within 30 miles who understood what a woman's body needed. She had no license, she had no diploma. She had 50 years of steady hands. She never turned a woman away from her door. For women with more resources, the network extended further. Sometimes it extended across an ocean. Number 8. The travel network. Women with money traveled to Puerto Rico, Mexico, Cuba, and Sweden to see licensed physicians. Organized networks arranged the flights, the hotels, and the appointments. A round-trip Pan Am ticket from New York to San Juan cost $68 in 1957. A clinic in the Santurce district. Clean, professional. The procedure performed under proper anesthesia. The woman flew home 2 days later. The total cost ran between $300 and $700. The average American family earned $5,000 a year. This door opened only for women who had money. A woman on Park Avenue could reach a clean clinic in San Juan by Friday morning. A woman on the south side of Chicago could reach a kitchen table. The procedure was identical. The danger was not. Number 7. The sympathetic gynecologist. A small number of licensed gynecologists performed the procedure in their private offices. They used sterile instruments and proper technique. They recorded the visit as a routine D&C for an incomplete miscarriage, a second-floor office in a medical building, a receptionist who did not ask questions, local anesthesia, a sterile curette, 15 minutes, $50, sometimes $100. The chart read, spontaneous incomplete abortion, treated with dilation and curettage, medically accurate, legally defensible, unless someone talked. These doctors risked their licenses and their freedom every time they closed the office door. The ones who explained why all said the same thing. They got tired of treating the women who went somewhere else first. Number 6. The kitchen table. Women without access to any network turned to unlicensed practitioners who worked out of apartments and private homes. The quality ranged from competent to lethal. A walk-up apartment, a kitchen table covered in a fresh white sheet, a folded towel, $25, sometimes $10. The woman was told to rest 2 hours and walk home slowly. Drink warm broth. Take aspirin. Go to the emergency room and say she was having a miscarriage if the bleeding did not stop. Never give this address to anyone. This was the network of last resort. It existed because every other door was locked. The women who survived it never spoke of it. The women who did not survive it could not. Here is something worth noticing about these networks. Nearly every one was sorted by money. A wealthy woman boarded a plane and saw a surgeon in a sterile clinic. A middle-class woman found a doctor through a friend of a friend. A working-class woman walked into a stranger's apartment with $25 and nothing else. The procedure was the same. The survival rate was not. Number 5. The Hospital Therapeutic Abortion Committee. Hospitals maintained panels of physicians who could legally approve the procedure if the pregnancy threatened the mother's life or mental health. These committees existed within the law. Access depended on who you knew. 3 to 5 doctors in a conference room. A written petition. Psychiatric evaluations. Letters from specialists. Approval meant a safe, legal hospital procedure. Under anesthesia, denial meant the woman left with no legal option. In 1960, hospitals performed roughly 8,000 approved therapeutic abortions. Researchers estimated 1 million women needed one that year. 8,000 approved, 1 million in need. The arithmetic was the cruelty. The system was not broken. It was functioning exactly as designed. It protected the institution while ensuring most women would never pass through its doors. The committee sat inside the system. But outside it, 2 individuals built what the system refused to provide. They deserve to be remembered by name. Number 4. Ruth Barnett of Portland, Oregon. Ruth Barnett performed an estimated 40,000 procedures over 40 years in Portland. She worked from a professional office on Broadway. She was skilled, clean, and safe. And she was completely outside the law. A waiting room with upholstered chairs, a trained nurse, instruments sterilized to hospital standards. Her complication rate was remarkably low, $25 to $50 on a sliding scale. Women traveled from across the Pacific Northwest. The police knew where she was. The district attorney knew. For decades, nobody moved against her. She was convicted in 1953, served time, came back, convicted again in 1966. She died in 1969. 4 years before the Supreme Court ruled that what she had spent her life doing was a constitutional right. She kept no records. She protected every name. Those 40,000 women survived because Ruth Barnett existed. They vanished from history because she never once opened her mouth. Number 3. Dr. Robert Spencer of Ashland, Pennsylvania. For nearly 4 decades, Dr. Robert Spencer performed safe procedures in the small coal town of Ashland, Pennsylvania. The whole town knew. The whole town protected him. An office on Center Street in a town of 5,000. Spencer charged $5 for local women, up to $100 for those who traveled from Philadelphia or New York. He used that money to cover the ones who could not pay at all. His complication rate was lower than many legal hospitals. Women arrived by Greyhound bus, often with their mothers beside them. The bus station saw so many unfamiliar women on Friday afternoons that locals called them Spencer's Girls. The boarding houses kept rooms open. When a state investigator came looking for testimony, not one resident said a word against him. He was not hiding. He was practicing medicine in a town that had decided, without discussion, that what he did mattered more than what the statute said. Ashland did not harbor a criminal. Ashland protected their doctor. Number 2. The Jane Collective of Chicago. In 1969, a group of women in Chicago built an underground network that performed an estimated 11,000 procedures before the law changed in 1973. They called themselves Jane. None of them had medical training when they started. They taught themselves. A phone number passed by word of mouth. A woman answered and said only, "This is Jane." The caller received a date, a time, and an address that changed weekly. A counselor explained the procedure and the risks. Then she was driven to a second location, clean instruments, a calm voice. They initially charged $100, then they lowered it. Then they stopped charging at all. 11,000 women over 4 years. They achieved an exceptionally safe record for an underground operation. They were not doctors, they were not nurses, they were women who looked at a system that had abandoned half the population and said, "Then we will do it ourselves." 11,000 times. They did not lose one. Jane operated outside the law and outside the church, but the most improbable network of all operated inside both. Number 1. The Clergy Consultation Service on Abortion. In 1967, a Baptist minister named Howard Moody stood in the pulpit of Judson Memorial Church in Greenwich Village and announced that he and 20 other clergymen would openly counsel women and refer them to safe practitioners. Within 5 years, the network grew to over 1,400 ministers and rabbis in 26 states. They helped an estimated 450,000 women. A woman called the central number. She was given the name of a local clergyman. She sat across his desk. He did not judge her. He did not try to change her mind. He gave her a name, a number, and a location. The network vetted every practitioner. If a complication rate climbed, they removed the name. They ran it with the precision of a medical system and the moral authority of the pulpit. They were not hiding. They placed advertisements in the New York Times. They dared the law to stop them. It never did. 1,400 men of God looked at the law on one side and the women sitting in their offices on the other, and they chose the women. That was not rebellion. That was ministry. 15 networks. Not one of them had a website, a storefront, or a sign on the door. They ran on whispered names, scraps of paper folded inside pocketbooks, and the most powerful system human beings have ever built. One woman telling another woman where to go. The law called every one of them criminal. The women who needed them called it the only phone number that answered. And somewhere in a quiet room, a woman whose name nobody wrote down picked up the receiver, heard the fear on the other end of the line, and said one word: when.